Hey, 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 hey. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, dear legendary woman. Be patient. That is the topic for today. And I thought it very fitting for me to talk about this simply because I am celebrating three, that's right, count them up, 1, 2, 3 years of full time entrepreneurship. And I am going to share every day this week, hopefully every day this week. I may have to get on earlier on Friday or at some point on Friday. But I want to share some of the things that I have discovered over these last 3 years of being a full time entrepreneur. And so I will not be before you long. I tried to go live earlier in the car, but of course, the internet was not going to let me be great. Okay. And so I had to come home, set up shop, and I am here before you today. So I'm going to talk about some things over the course of this week that really have stuck out to me as I think about and reflect on, this being the third year that I have been a successful entrepreneur. The third year, three years from the day that I fired my boss and gave them the boot. 3 years from the day that I made a decision that I can actually do all things. 3 years from today, I decided that I was going to use the creativity that God gave me and go forward in the things that He has called me to do personally. And so I am truly excited. And I hope that each of you are blessed. Having an amazing day. It is a beautiful day. It is July the 10th, y'all. And it wasn't until a couple of days, well, actually, probably yesterday, that I realized that today was my anniversary. And, all day today, I was kind of a little bit sluggish. I don't know why, but I was a little bit sluggish, which, hey, it's Monday, but Mondays are not the same like they used to be for me. When I worked at a job, I used to dread Mondays, just like most people. Sunday night, you like, oh God, I gotta go to work tomorrow. But I don't feel like that. I honestly do not feel like that. I look forward to having the opportunity to see what the end is going to be every day in my business, always waking up with a positive outlook that the day is going to be better, that it's going to be better than it was previously, like that the month is going to be better. And so it's so different being on this side of it. But for anybody who's thinking about becoming an entrepreneur, or if you are an entrepreneur, listen, be encouraged. Continue to be encouraged because it is a process. It's different, going from having somebody tell you exactly what to do every single day to you having to tell yourself what to do. It is not as easy, as I'm saying it. Okay, because you are the CEO of your own life, and now you got to figure out, man, what time am I getting up? What time am I going in? What time am I going to work? What time am I going to do X, Y, and Z? So it's no longer a template for you anymore, but it's up to you to design what you want. And so here are just some things that I have discovered along the way. And I'm just going to share one thing for today. Okay, just one thing for today. And these things gonna drive me crazy, y'all. These little headphones be crazy. Hold on, Jesus. All right. If you see me doing this, you already know what's up. These things be coming out. I think my ear is too big or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, so the first thing that I have realized over the course of 3 years is that you have got to be patient. You have got to be patient. I want to share with you a statistic, and you probably know where I'm going with this. But most businesses fail within their first 1 to 3 years. They fail for many reasons. And I will talk about some of those reasons today. But I want you to know, even if you have had a business before and that business was not successful, I really hope, and I want to challenge you, if you have not done this, go back and see why. Because it is not easy to flip the switch and say, hey, I am an entrepreneur now. I'm making my own decisions now. I get up when I want, I go to bed when I want, I work when I want. But as an entrepreneur, when you don't work, you don't get paid. Not in the beginning, right? And so we got to make sure that we have things stabilized and we have to plan for where we want, for what we want all right, and how much money we even want to make. So all that stuff is planning, but patience is definitely key. Okay, so here are some quotes that I found on patience, which I thought were very interesting. So the first one is patience is not the ability to wait, but the ability to keep a good attitude while waiting. All right. To keep a good attitude while waiting. So as you guys know, I am a business coach. I am a finance coach, and I help people with their money. I help people with their businesses. But when I first started my own business back in 2016, and I started my business, of course, part time, I started my coaching business, and I didn't really have anyone right when I just finally decided to just do it, right? At God's direction. I did not have anyone guiding me along the way. I had no one there saying, hey, do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that. I was just truly excited, ready to go. Couldn't wait to start working on my business, working on the website, working on the logo, and a lot of stuff I did on my own, right? And so I was just figuring things out as I was going. I was just so excited to have my name attached to that LLC. And I was just working all night, working all day, trying to make up my programs, figuring out my pricing, and it was all very exciting, right? But anytime you get into business, you must know that you have to know your research, okay? You got to know that there is a need for what you do. You got to know who your target is. There's so many things that comes with business, and I know that people are so excited when God gives them an idea, or if you get that idea, you're like, man, I'm going to go start this business. But you do have to know what you're getting into, right? You have to look at your competitors. You have to see if this is a viable market for me to actually start and open a business. Do I have enough money to be sustained if I'm going to decide to become a full-time entrepreneur? See, all those things have to be taken into consideration. And so patience is one thing I can definitely say that I've learned along the way. Because when you are first mastering your business, you got to understand, you got to build it. You have to build it. You can't just turn the light on and expect people to come. No, you have to brand yourself. You have to market. You have to advertise. You have to do so many things, and you have to wait. You have to actively be having conversations, talking to people, rubbing elbows, whatever it is that you got to do in order to drum up that business. But that's the grind. And that's what you look forward to, because you never know that you are one conversation away from your business absolutely exploding. So just the thought of that, just the mere thought of that is life changing. So you know that it is all depending on you, right? And you actually having those conversations and doing the things that are necessary for you to be a successful business owner. Okay, here is another quote. Have patience with all things, but first of all, with yourself. You got to be patient with yourself. Listen, when we begin to look around and start comparing our businesses to other people who have been in business for 50 years, we already got the game mixed up. We already got it messed up. Why? Because they've been in business for 50 years. They've had their ups and downs. They had their share of disappointments, of victories, all these things. And they have been able to fine tune it and change it and make those adjustments and do a little bit more of this and do a little bit less of that. So they've been through that experience. And so you can't necessarily look at a business that's in a growth phase and look at your startup business and say, oh, I'm never going to get there. Because you have to be patient. It takes time. It takes time. And so I just want you to be encouraged in knowing, if you are thinking about starting a business, if there is a business idea that you have, first of all, do your research. And if you don't know how to get started with your research, what things that you need, then you need to get a business coach. So that's one thing. If I can't think about it in hindsight, I wish I would have partnered with a business coach, someone who can tell me the ins and outs of business, but I didn't do that. And I didn't know to do that. I didn't even know that coaches existed. And so I was just kind of figuring things out. Eventually, I got linked up with a local women's initiative in the city that I'm from. And they were able to help me with some things, and it all started coming together. And so having those conversations, knowing where the resources are in your city and your state, that's going to help you to catapult forward. Now, some places don't have, those type of things in place, but I'm so grateful for the connections that I was able to make. And so sometimes when I meet with people in my business, they're not really sure what they should be doing with their life. They're not really sure what direction to go. So they come to me for assistance. And so it's so funny that the things that God has called you to do are the things that you probably have already been doing. The things that you're already good at. Not something that you don't like, but something that you're naturally gifted to do, naturally talented to do, because he gave you that. He gave you that, right? And so you got to be patient with yourself and even trying to figure out, well, man, what should I be doing? Right? Where should I go? What should I be focusing on? And sometimes you do need to get with somebody who can help you to think outside of the box so that you can think, okay, what am I supposed to be doing? I know I'm supposed to be doing something, but I'm not quite sure how to get started. And so if that is you today, I want to encourage you to link up with a business coach, to link up with someone who could potentially guide you along in that process. You can link up with me, okay? And so here's another quote. It takes time for the seeds you plant to bloom. Have the patience not to pluck them too soon. Okay? And so listen, it's just like anything else in life. If there's a starting point, there's probably a midpoint, there's probably an intermediate point, closer to the end, and then there's the end. So you can't expect your business or your idea to be fully developed simply because God gave you that little piece, right? Because he gave you a business name, because he gave you the idea. You have to work with that, right? You have to write it down. You have to write the vision and make it plain so that others will run well with it. You have to connect with people that can help you to bring your vision to pass, to help you to get out what's in your head and putting it on paper. So all of those things are part of the process, but I'm telling you what, that's one of the things that I learned over the course of time. My business has taken many shapes, many different things I've done. When I first got started with my coaching business, I made my own logo. Canva wasn't a thing back then, so I made it in Word. Okay, listen, I don't know what I was doing. I'm pretty computer savvy, but I'm just like, oh, I got to make this in Word, so I made it in Word, and I got it made over again. I paid for somebody to do it for me after that, right? Because I thought it was great. I thought it was cool. But after a while, I said, yeah, I may want to be a little bit more professional. I want to change that up a little bit. So I did decide to change that. And I partnered with someone who specialized in making websites, who specialized in those things. And she helped me out with that. And so that was one thing I learned. Sitting around trying to figure out. I threw my website up myself. I put on so many different things because I said to myself, if I'm going to be in business, I can do all the things that I love doing. My first business card, it had all types of stuff on there. I said, I'm a poet. I said, I'm a writer. I am a songwriter. I do resumes. I do websites. I will proofread for you. I had all this stuff on my business card. Did you hear me? You know how confusing that is? Like, what are you doing, sis? Right? And so this is just my story. Only I can tell it. But even with that, and I wish I would have saved one of those cards. I probably have one around here somewhere. But I'm telling you, well, all that said and done, it was a mess. But I was still excited, I was still selling my books and promoting my business as much as I could. Did I get any clients at that time? No, because I didn't know what I was doing. Now, of course, I sold some books, so some of you guys may even own my book, which is Your Destiny Taken by Force, No More Excuses. Okay, so I wrote that back in, I want to say 2017 was when I published my book. But of course, since then, yes, being super excited, being patient, Sometimes when you get something, you expect this to be the thing and you just run with that and you're like, okay. But then it's easy to get disappointed when you feel like that one thing that you tried didn't work. But that is the game, baby. Listen, you got to be patient in business. You can't just throw in the towel. You can't just quit when things get hard. Did God tell you to quit it? Because if God told you to start it, did he also tell you 3 months later, okay, time to quit? Or is that you? Is that your insecurities? Is that you not being perfected in your craft? Is that you giving up too early, giving up too easily at the first sign of opposition? So I want you to be encouraged in knowing if God called you to that thing, of course he can bring you through that. Of course he can help you with that. Of course he can send the people in your life that need to help you with that. But be open to that, right? Be open to the help when it comes. I've talked about this many times. I'm about to go because I've been on here for 15 minutes and it's been about 12 minutes too long. I didn't want to be on here too long. But I'm going to just tell you that I want you to be patient. Don't count all your chickens before they hatch. Is that a saying? Or is it the eggs? Whichever one. Don't count all your eggs before they hatch. You don't know what the end is going to be. Your only assignment is to keep going. Your only assignment is not to quit. Just choose today not to quit. Just choose today to change it up. What else can you do? Because see, after you have done all you can do, that's all you can do. That's all you can do. So I want you to be encouraged in knowing if you have started a business, just be patient. That is a prerequisite. You have to be patient. You can't expect things to just pop off in 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and then say, okay, well, this thing doesn't work. That's not real life because listen, if you want to be a part of those statistics, it's probably about 90% of businesses that fail within their first 3 years. I'm 3 years in, baby. I'm out here. Okay, I'm out here and I'm so excited. And I don't say that boastfully. I'm saying that truly in the confidence of the Lord because I know it was only because of his grace that my business, the thing that God gave me, was not consumed. I am so grateful to be 3 years standing in front of you as living proof that patience works, that trying something new works, that doing it over again works, that reinventing yourself again works. I am Coach Monique Beck. I am a business coach.